KidNuz fans, tired of advertisements? We get it, but we also have to keep the lights on. There's a way around them, though. Parents can join Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts or at starglowmedia.com/subscribe to ditch the commercials and unlock access to future bonus episodes and other exclusive content from the Starglow Media Network. That's Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts or at starglowmedia.com/subscribe. Now, on to the news.
Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Friday, February 2nd, 2024, Groundhog Day in the U.S. And we begin with some pointed questions for Punxsutawney Phil and the accuracy of his forecasting. By now, handlers will have pulled the sleepy little groundhog from his burrow in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania, and announced whether he saw his shadow and if we're in for 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring. It's a tradition, all rooted in fun, that dates back to farmers in Europe who wanted to mark the midway point between the shortest day of the year in December and the better weather that comes with the vernal equinox. And while thousands of people crowd into Gobbler's Knob every year to await Phil's forecast, how much stock should we put in his prognostication? Apparently, not much. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in the last decade, Phil's gotten it right only 40% of the time. We've all heard of moonquakes. Now we may know a little more about what causes them. As NASA digs into the potential hazards lunar shaking might pose to future astronauts, expeditions, and outposts, the agency found that at least some of the movement is due to the fact that the moon is slowly shrinking. Why? Researchers say as its core cools, its surface wrinkles, much like when a grape becomes a raisin. The shrinkage isn't a lot. It's lost just 150 feet in circumference over the past few million years, but that's apparently enough to trigger surface quakes, which, unlike here on Earth, can last for hours. And many of them happen at the moon's south pole, which is of high interest to explorers. So far, at least, NASA is moving ahead with plans for its Artemis 3 mission with astronauts on board, which could blast off as early as 2026. It's a tug-of-war over music on TikTok. A company called the Universal Music Group controls how songs from Drake, Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, and other big names are used, and it's none too happy with how licensing negotiations with the social media giant are going. Basically, it's a fight over money and creative control, and the result is silence. A check on the platform yesterday found some videos still include the music in question, while others have a message reading, "Sound removed due to copyright restrictions." According to NBC News, TikTok has around 1.5 billion monthly users, and around 60% of TikTok videos include music. How long the standoff will last is unclear. Environmentalists in California are celebrating an unlikely partner in the fight against coastal erosion: sea otters. Once on the brink of extinction, the number of these cute little marine mammals is growing. While their population goes up, the number of their favorite snack, the striped shore crab, is going down, and that is reportedly improving the local ecosystem. As explained in the journal Nature, the crabs burrow into local salt marshes and cause erosion, similar to Swiss cheese. More sea otters means fewer crabs and slower erosion on the coast. Scientists say it's a good example of the important relationship and delicate balance between species and their habitats. The toilet paper over versus under debate is so yesterday. Now, a new bathroom battleground is unfolding. If you want to reduce the spread of germs when you flush, which is better, lid up or lid down? According to a new study in the American Journal of Infection Control, scientists from the University of Arizona say it doesn't make a bit of difference. The flush sends a plume of microscopic particles everywhere, and the lid only serves to change the trajectory or direction of those little buggers. Something to think about, especially if you have a habit of bringing your phone to the throne. Bottom line, if nothing else about this story stays with you, let this: always, always, always wash your hands. Still to come, what will soon be the biggest Ferris wheel in the world. But first, today's KidNuz quiz. What is the accuracy of Punxsutawney Phil? According to a federal agency, 40%. What animal is helping to slow coastal erosion in California? Sea otters. How much has the moon shrunk? 150 feet in circumference. What's the answer to the seat up or seat down debate? In terms of germs, it doesn't matter. In our KidNuz kicker, hold on to your hats. The Seoul Twin Eye, a new Ferris wheel going up in South Korea, will tower 600 feet over the city and carry up to 1,400 riders at a time. Slated for a 2028 opening, the architectural marvel will not only be huge, it will be spokeless, a first-of-its-kind carousel featuring 64 capsules set on intersecting tracks. The design is reportedly inspired by a centuries-old South Korean astronomical clock. When the Twin Eye opens, it will also become the world's highest Ferris wheel, taller even than the London Eye, and offer passengers panoramic views of the Han River and nearby World Cup Stadium. Before we go, shout-outs to our KidNuz classrooms, Mrs. Cece and her Wildcats at William Walker in Beaverton, Oregon, Mrs. Wright and her Rams at Headland Middle School in Headland, Alabama, and Mrs. Ross and her Dolphins at Samantha Smith School in Sammamish, Washington. Thanks for listening. Our weekly word searches in your emails and the Week in Review quiz and monthly Noodler are up on our website. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here for more KidNuz Monday morning.